Today on the DULO Show, we have Hristo, and he's a really fascinating profile. Julian, how did you find him?
Yeah, I read an article on Medium. I was really impressed, to be honest, and proud to be Bulgarian as well. So I decided to reach out, and then hopefully we can get him on the show, which is a fact now. So just give us a quick introduction of like yourself, and then the business of your company as well.
All right, thank you guys for the introduction. My name is Hristo, and I'm the CEO, kind of, and co-founder of Centroida. We're a software consulting and training company. I'm originally from Yampol, a small town in eastern Bulgaria. I graduated at the American University in Bulgaria, and a little bit before graduating, me and two of my friends, we decided to start a software business. Because we wanted to really create something that's really international, and we believe that we can create really great company with great culture in Bulgaria. And that's how Centroida started. We got a lot of support from the university and friends, and I'm pretty happy that even though we are about to get venture capital, but we haven't gotten venture capital, things worked out for us, and we got a lot of support from friends and family and pretty much the university. So yeah, that's how pretty much everything started.
Where did the company, was it formed within the university, or did you do it outside it?
So how it happened was I had this idea. So I kind of figured out that if I wanted to create something big and interesting, I wouldn't be able to do so by basically working from somebody, and I believe that I can make it so by doing it by myself. So in the summer of 2015, me and two other guys, we founded Centroida, but while I was during my summer vacation, and I went on this summer entrepreneurship program in the US for a month and a half, and there I pretty much saw the business environment. I learned a lot of history about how entrepreneurship was created and how it was promoted in the US, because the US main selling point is that, they have a lot of entrepreneurs and all of them are really successful. So I basically, there we tracked down the history, how everything came together, how the mindset was born, and it was a lot of fun. And the general outcome of this program that we had there was to make our own company when we come back home in Bulgaria, and that's what I did. The two other guys that I started a company with, they're kind of fine with it, but they weren't really passionate about it. So each of them kind of decided to go their own way. But then again, I met with the guys I actually started a company with. We just, came together after the summer break. It was just before my senior year. And I met Gavril. It's the other co-founder. And Gavril, or Gafka, I'll call him Gafka because it's easier. We just met together, and he was like, I knew that he was on an internship, which he did pretty well. And he just told me that, and even before his internship, he participated in Microsoft Imagine Cup. And he was doing some really crazy thing with AR and robots, so augmented reality and robots and stuff. So I knew that he's having this mindset. I was in the US, I was seeing the crazy things people do there, especially in the Silicon Valley. And I saw him, and he's never been to the Valley, but he was having just this mindset to do crazy things with technology. He was really passionate about it. He got very excited. So when I told him what I'm trying to do, he was like, wow, let's do this. It's like the best thing to do in our senior year. There's no other way we can basically enjoy our senior year more. And then we had this added element of helping other students, because both of us weren't really popular in the computer science club that was back then. I don't know, the students there were not really the type of people that were proactive, and the student club was kind of dying. So we came over there and we just took the place by storm. We got people super hyped just because, we knew how to approach, these kinds of things, basically, things about technology, software development. We knew what really gets people hyped. So we got the hype train going, and we slowly started training other students, helping them out. We were hearing their crazy ideas. We're trying to, get things going, and it was all technology focused. It was mostly focused on technology. Getting the best out of technology, making sure you're competitive out there in the global market, and things like that. Things that are kind of often seen in the Silicon Valley. And it's not only the Silicon Valley in general. We wanted to we're using the Silicon Valley mindset to just enhance education at our university. And while we were doing all these crazy things, we kind of got a lot of attention from some professors. The president of the university back then, he had a career with TiVo, which is a startup in the Silicon Valley. So the president of the university he knew exactly what we were doing.
Is he Bulgarian or is he from the States?
He was back then. He was a Bulgarian guy as well, Straci Kulinski, and he had experience with that. He's been in the valley as well, and he knew exactly what we're trying to do, and he was very happy, very supportive. One of the professors actually found this small company in Blagoevgrad, because that's where the university is based on. It's a small city.
It's my hometown, by the way.
Sorry?
It's my hometown.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's an amazing place. I had really great time there. 4 years. It's so calm. It's great for studying because there are not many distractions. You can go to Lenovo, the park, and just walk around, do some running. It's very calm. It's a really nice place. So we were there, and there is this small company that's doing property management, basically kind of servicing residential properties. And they were having this huge file with Excel spreadsheets for each and every month. They were managing the financials. So we decided to automate the whole process, create a software that basically gets all the data, crunches it in, and puts it in a database. And then we created an interface. Then we found out a lot of other things that we can optimize using software. And the guys were they were so happy. They actually started paying us, and they pretty much came and said, how much do you want? And we didn't know what to say. Okay, we're doing this anyway. So they just paid us some money, and we, instead of basically distributing the money between us and the students that were working on this project, we decided to buy a small office. And buy a few chairs, buy desks, throw a party and see what happens. And that's how Centroida was born, pretty much. It was a student club originally that we founded as a competitor of the computer science club. We called it LBG Spaces because we had a shared workspace where people gathered and basically they learned stuff from each other. And that's how Centroida came to be a thing. And after that, basically, we had to, find more projects so that we can keep the office and everything. And yeah, that's how it pretty much started.
How many people were you in when you started for your first project?
Okay, well, it was me and Gavru. Basically, we're doing the project with ASP.NET, and we wanted to do it for the web. So I had a lot of experience with the web, and Gavru had a lot of experience with the mobile stuff. So it was two of us, and there was one student who was super talented. He got he got an internship in Skyscanner after that. He was super talented, so he created the backend, the database, and everything. I was doing the web part. Gavru was doing the mobile part. So we needed a mobile application because there were those people who are going around the buildings and collecting money or doing stuff, basically communicating. So we're just three people, pretty much. And later on, that student, he got an internship. So, he said, I'm going to go on this internship in this big startup. So I'll say, if you want to go there, go. And then came the third co-founder, Theodore. He was also graduating just like us. We knew each other. We've known each other for 4 years before we started. we were basically students, and all of us were graduating. So he just decided to jump on the whole venture, take the huge risk that we're going to take. He actually, I think in the beginning, he really didn't understand how difficult things are going to be. But then again, he kind of managed to cope with the whole situation. And in the end of the day, we're pretty much 3 people after this student left for an internship. We're 3 people doing this software. And the rest, we had a lot of people around us, though. Like, we had a lot of students who were willing to, take on a real project, and they were like excited to see, some stuff in production or some stuff that's being used by other people. So we had a lot of people around. We've never been just 3 of us. We always had a pool of people that were around us and either helping with some coding or helping with some contacts or helping with some marketing and sharing stuff. So, but in general, we're like 3 people taking out the risk. So I would say we're 3 people in the beginning.
And so what happened after you guys graduated? What was the next step for you guys and then the company as well?
Well, so it was like April, and we were saying, okay, well, we're in Blagoevgrad, we can't scale, even though we wanted. So we decided to keep the office in Blagoevgrad to see how much it lasts. But we wanted to go to Sofia, so we started to look for an office in Sofia. And thankfully, back then, since we were helping students out and we had a lot of support from some professors and faculty and staff, they were like super happy that we're helping them, get the education going. We're going on competitions as well. So they're really happy with us, basically spreading the good word for the university, helping students out, being proactive. So we're in a favorable position to just ask around. So we started asking around, we're looking for an office. We want to go to Sofia. Make it big out there. And it was just 3 of us. So back then, basically, one of the professors knew the lady that was managing a building in Sofia, like an office building. And she was really happy to welcome us because she has such type of a background as well. So we came over to her, and basically that building is somehow associated with their university. They do part of the trainings there in Sofia. So she said, okay, I'm going to give you a room and you guys are going to basically do some work for the university because we have a lot of IT work to do. And we decided to build their course registration system because it was, the last time they had it built, it was 1999 or something. It was really old. Like it worked very well, but it was really old. And they couldn't expose it to the outside internet. So students could only register courses if they are on campus, and they're using the intranet because the system was so old and so unsecure that basically if it was exposed to the outside internet, it would get like blown up to pieces. So we decided to build a registration system, basically modernize it from the ground up. And in return, they decided to give us an office. And that was pretty much it. We said, okay, now we have an office. So we found some place to go to, and it was in Studentsky Grad. So Studentsky Grad is well known for cheap living and a lot of students there. So we found a place there to stay, 3 of us. So we had an office, we had a place to go. And we were really happy because we knew the opportunity. And what we did is that we went through all the graduation stuff really fast. Like we weren't super excited about graduating because we had a lot of work to do. Like, you have an office, you have a place, but you have to pay the rent, right? So we didn't have that much savings back then. So we were really frantically looking for projects. And this project that we were doing, we had to win at least some like competitions with prizes so that we can get some money. Basically, we didn't really look for venture capital because we knew that if we had enough work to do, we can pretty much, do the work and grow organically. So yeah, that happened. It was May when we graduated. I just went back home for a few days, packed my stuff, bought a new computer because the old one was about to die, pretty much. I went. We went on 1st of June, so it was like a year ago. We went to Sofia. Then it was some kind of a competition going on, like Junior Achievement Bulgaria, organizing like the best student-run company in Bulgaria competition. So, and in the same time, like the guys, our first client, they decided to push our project into production, and it wasn't perfect. So basically, we had 3 days to prepare for that competition, and it was a big competition. Like a lot of students from different universities coming, the Bulgarian president coming, a lot of people and stuff. And at the same time, we had to do a lot of bug fixing. So one of our guys was constantly on the phone, and now he's doing a lot of customer relations just because he was the guy who was on the phone all the time, getting bugs, like resolving bugs, fixing things. And we had this counter on our wall, like how many times, how much time has passed since we were called for a bug or some feature request. And we were really happy, but back then it was like hours since it happened, and it became like days since it last time we got caught. And there are like 3 super intense days, like super intense. Like we didn't sleep. We were constantly fixing things. We were also like preparing print materials, presentations, how we're gonna manage the whole thing. It was, and we're also moving in, so we had to do like luggage, and we had to move some. So it was really fun how we did the traveling part, because Gavka, one of the co-founders, he has a small like Volkswagen Polo car, and we wanted to get part of the furniture from the office, at least a few chairs, so that in the new office it won't be like empty. So we crammed everything in the car, and it was like Sunday night, like 1 a.m. so that we made sure there's not much traffic. So we crammed the whole car and everything, and we went driving in the night from Blagoevgrad to Sofia, and we blew up a tire. We had to change the tire. We came back at 3 a.m. Then we had to like unload, sleep for 3 hours. Then we had to wake up because, actually we got woken up by the owner of the company saying that there are some bugs that have to be fixed like at 9 a.m. And it was really crazy, these first days of like graduation. So it was really, really intense, but also a lot of fun. Like looking back at it, like it was so much fun.
And the product, was it the real estate software or the student enrollment?
It was the real estate software. Basically, they have like the company itself. It's around 15 people that's doing it, and basically, in the beginning, like there are some issues that we had to clear out with the database and stuff like that. So we're constantly on the phone with them, trying to make sure they're giving us the bugs, and we understand what's the problem with the software and how we can fix it, and make sure all the calculations are correct, because there's a lot of financials there. So yeah, but in the end of the day, like it's really nice because the guys there, they had the patience to make sure we get everything going. They understood that we're a startup, that we're like really pushing ourselves. And at the end of the day, they were like really happy, and they're still quite happy with the software. They've been using it for over a year now, and their company is pretty much like, it's part of the company right now, the software. They pretty much cannot work without it because all the data is there.
That's pretty amazing. A great story, by the way. You mentioned, I think, that all of this happens about a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so what have you been up to over the last 12 months?
Well, a lot of things. We were pretty much, after we start a business, it's like starting is easy, but sustaining it is a whole different story. So, we always get told, the first 2 years of a business, or the first year of a business, is the most critical, it's the most difficult one. We're like, yeah, okay, we're doing okay, we're gonna make it. So we didn't really realize how difficult it is. Like we knew that it was going to be difficult, but we really didn't have like an exact idea. So in the last 12 months, we were pretty much surviving, let's say. Well, not pretty much in the last 8 months, we did a lot of survival. So once we got this thing going, we got like another project, like from a local company for some medical stuff, by the way. There was some, basically they wanted to do some stuff there, but the client had no idea. Like he just had some money and he had no idea what he was doing. And we didn't know that he didn't have an idea what he was doing. So things went kind of crazy there. Like we ended up being on a death march with this project, basically working for free because this guy didn't know what he wanted. That's one thing that went wrong. Then we had some e-commerce store that we're doing. And yeah, they said they're gonna do a few things, and it ended up like we're doing a lot of work for free also because, you know, basically our client didn't have experience, didn't know what they wanted. And they're having this, you know, like local companies in Bulgaria. Since they're working in the local market, local entrepreneurs, they really don't have money, and they really try to kind of, you know, if I can make these guys not pay, I'll make them not. Basically, if I can make them work for free, I will make them work for free. And well, we were made to work for free quite a lot until we kind of learned to figure out how to do business and basically how to charge our clients and stuff like that. And the problem, it's okay to work for free if you're only 3 people. But the problem was that we started getting other people as well, because our plan was to basically expand our operations, and expanding operations means we don't have to like write out the code and, you know, do all the work. And we got a few other students and basically people we knew. And this was during the summer. So we got like 2 more guys. There's one student who's like, who came with us, basically started the company and everything. And we had one student from Sofia University. So we had 2 people, and they're like, one other friend of Gavril came over, who's Albanian. He had no idea of software development, but he was so passionate. Like all these guys, all the people, the first 3 people we employed, they were so passionate. They had no experience, but they're so passionate. They were working so hard. And the problem was, you know, not we working for free. The problem was making sure these guys that are working for us are getting paid. So until we kind of figured out that basically, we figure out the whole process of, you know, making sure the client pays and they don't like intimidate us, or we keep the scope clean so that, you know, they cannot do feature creeping and basically try to make us work for free. We had a lot of going back and forth, you know, them trying to not waste money and get the most features out. We're trying to basically feed our people who are really enthusiastic, really working hard, really trying to make sure they perform the best. And it was like a lot of passion because they saw that we were working like from 9 to 9, pretty much 12 hours a day. And we saw that they're really trying. And it was really, really, we would have been really sad if we quit. And in September, we got a foreign client. It was our first foreign client. It was a startup doing, by the way, it's an interesting thing. They were doing some kind of cannabis dispensary analytics.
It's
so basically,
Amsterdam-based company.
Yeah, it was a startup in California doing basically cannabis analytics, because they in Colorado, I think they have a lot of cannabis is legalized, and they have a lot of dispensaries there. So they're doing some kind of software, but the guys there, they're actually pretty good guys. They tried hard, but they didn't have the whole business idea fleshed out. But once we got this foreign client, it was like we kind of figured out that, you know, things could be better, that we're not actually doing a bad job, or they're actually doing a pretty good job. It's just that maybe if we try to find clients that are a little bit more tech savvy, or more tech oriented, or just in general clients that, you know how software is made, or have some idea of software and basically of technology and what they want, in general, we can figure things out pretty well. But this client, we built the product for them, but they ran out of money because they're getting some funded. So they ran out of money, and it was all good. It was all perfect until, we worked for them and they had money. But when they ran out of money, it was like the end of November. And we hired more people because we thought, now we have a business going. There's another company that we work for doing a mobile app, like an e-commerce stuff. And things are going pretty well. But then one of the clients died, and it was our only international client. And the rest of the clients weren't really, they're paying enough for us to survive, but no, they couldn't pay us more, even though some of them wanted, but they just, their business, basically their upper line wasn't paying that much so that they can give us, they wanted a lot, but they really couldn't pay us. And in November, things started going downhill like really fast because we had a cash burn rate now. We had to pay salaries, and we had all those young people. All of them were like 23, 22 years old, and all of them, pretty much worked for free. I wouldn't say what we were paying them was up to market prices, up to the market level. It was below the market level. They just worked because of the culture, because we're really passionate, and because they like to work. They just like the technology. They all like what they were doing. They're learning a lot. And basically for the next 4 months, like from November to February, I don't know. It was like probably the darkest time of my life, because I don't know, it was really difficult. Like, you have no idea what is it to, start a business, make it run, and then go so downhill that you basically, you see the end coming, and then at some point we started having discussions of closing down the business, or we're not the right people to run a business, we're not good enough, we things aren't working out, maybe we should try again. And things weren't going really well. At some point, I don't know, at some point we lost touch because we're so focused on working, doing operational work, writing code, training the people. We lost our connections with the outside world. So we didn't do business meetings, we didn't do anything. We're just working and trying to figure things out. And basically, some of the clients started pushing us around because, we can't pay now, we can't pay this day, we can't pay in 2 months. The clients that were paying run out of money, or they just, we did the work for them and they said, okay, guys, thanks, it's really been great. Next time we're going to contact you. But we didn't have something long term, we didn't have cash flow going. And, we started having these conversations. What are we going to do if things don't work out? And then we started doing, 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before money runs out. And then we said, okay, maybe we should try to kind of shake up things. So me, Gabriel, and Teo, one day we gathered and we organized the Centroida Lifeline. And the Lifeline was basically, it was a list of 30 people we want to contact for projects, for anything. So it was people that supported us, people, everybody thought that everything was going okay, Outside, everything looked perfect. I think people thought that we're going fine, we have no problems. There's a lot of work to go around, but inside, especially that, 3 of us knew that things were pretty much almost dead. So we contacted all these people and we told them that we're kind of in trouble and we'll be really happy if they can give us some work. And part of these people were outside Bulgaria. We also started doing a lot of content writing, technology content writing, basically explaining technologies, because we became really good at what we're doing. We spent, 12, 15 hours doing something. When you spend 12, 15 hours every day doing something, you become really good at it. So we started doing a lot of content writing so that we can get noticed. We started getting on online platforms like Code Mentor to help other developers out for some for a price. We started going to Upwork, and we kind of opened up to the world. Started doing actual business development. And this was the thing that, kind of changed, kind of flipped things around. Being, not being too focused on basically, doing the operational work, not being that much of a software guy, but actually being a business guy as well. So, if we started being more of the business guys, and more of the people who are connecting the dots, and we started getting more and more work. And since we're really good at what we're doing, and the people that came to work with us, they actually started becoming really good as well. And basically in mid-March, we were pretty much like in month and a half, we were like from how much time we've gotten to with everybody to leave, to okay, so what are we gonna do next? We had so much work. Everything was going well. We secured a few clients. We had clients from Norway, from the US, from the Netherlands, and all of them are super happy. They're super happy that they found us. We're super happy with what we're doing, and we pretty much even found Bulgarian clients who are like from bigger companies and have a better understanding what they wanted to do, like more developed businesses approaching us. We started building a portfolio. We started getting a lot of references, and we actually had the luck to work with some quite talented teams. For example, there's this startup that's Connecto. Its name is Connecto. They're doing AI, and the founder of the startup is basically one of the R&D directors of VMware, like the global R&D director. And the guy is amazing. Like, he had a team of super talented people, and we got but all of them are have 15 years of basically experience in software development, and we are like the fresh blood, and we willing to work hard to make things done. And basically we worked with them a lot. We learned a lot from them, and they were so happy because basically we're the young guys and they're the the older guys who have a lot of experience, and we're all on this startup train doing things, and they're so happy. So we've kind of developed some really strong relationships with our clients, and we started getting a lot of references. And now we're at the point we're getting more than enough work. Like, we're getting more work than we can sustain. We have a core team of people. Pretty much a core team basically means that you have a team of people that that if you give them something, they'll figure it out by themselves. So they're fully autonomous. They're creative enough to solve a very difficult technical problem. And now we just came to this point that we can hire somebody who's very experienced, like somebody who's having 10 years of experience in software development. And the moment we came to this point, so let's say 2 months ago, we got contacted by an investor. And actually, it was because of this article. Because I wrote this article in May, I just had this idea to share the story and I'll be honest, I added some sensationalism there. Like, there's some sensation in it. It's kind of dark, but the idea is to just add a little bit more drama. But it's actually, everything's real. There is just that there's a little bit more drama, just to attract people and make people discuss it. And then we got contacted by an investor. Now, the deal is almost done, and we had a lot of back and forth, and now we have a guy who's having 15 years of development experience, worked for Microsoft, coming in to be something like our tech lead. Basically, he will mentor all the guys in our company, because all of them are really young and green, and they have a lot of potential. And this guy basically came in and he did development plans for each of them, personal development plans, what they need to study, what they need to do. And we have a business guy who graduated at Stanford University, worked in the Valley, and basically now he's based in Sofia. He's going to be our chief business development officer. And this happened just last month. And this is pretty much the last 12 months, going from the start, going okay, then going to the very bottom. Almost getting deeply depressed. We're literally when we got our first project from Norway and we got our first payment for our work, we were like, I think we're at around 10 days away from like telling everybody, it's over. Sorry guys, we can't pay you. We can't pay your salaries, And from this point, it's been only going up. I think even if things go bad, they will never go as bad as they did during the winter. And in general, it's been a really interesting ride. It's been amazing to get through all this, even though it wasn't all pleasant.
It sounds like an amazing experience.
Yeah. And throughout those, like the hardest time that you had, like as you say, that the lowest low, was there a moment when you were like self-doubting yourself and you were thinking of quitting, or more of a second part of the question is what kept you going actually?
Yeah, well, the thing is that I had this like for a few months. Basically, I thought that maybe we're not that good. Maybe we're not that good to run a business, or maybe that's not our stuff. I can be like a consultant and stuff like that because I'm good at this. And what kind of kept me going is the culture and the people, basically. So we knew that the team we've made, basically the people we had right now, were people that can do a lot of things. We knew it, we felt it. Basically it's because starting a business isn't a journey you start alone. You always start with other people, and basically the support we had between each other, sharing whatever we had, trying to help each other, basically committing to each one of our needs. I mean, it would have all gone to waste, doing all this. So basically, I would say the other people kept me going. It's basically we kept each other going because I had these discussions with everybody. I had this discussion with Gavril. Gavril had this discussion with me. So had discussion with each of us, and we just sat down and say, okay, guys, it's bad, but what can we do about it? Basically, we always try to find a way out to get ourselves out of the situation, or because we said, okay, we have all these resources, we have all these people, and these people are really good. They're spending a lot of time doing their job. So whatever we give them, they'll make it. So let's just find something, So we're always thinking of like looking for the way out. This is it. Basically, it's not about giving up, because giving up is easy. You give up. I mean, you can always go back home, to your parents and cry, But it's more interesting to find a solution of a problem or find a way out. It's just more interesting, And that, especially when you're 20, 23 years old, that you have nothing to lose. I mean, and it sucks. I mean, it sucks even if you lose the company. I mean, you kind of have something to lose, I guess. So we said, okay, we've gone too far to just let this thing go. So basically, that's it. Basically, it was the support of other people, the feeling that it's better to solve a problem rather than try to, get escape or give up, and the knowledge that this is your time. This is our time, being young and trying to do things. And basically, we knew that it's something that happens, but we wanted to kind of beat the odds. So we did everything we could, and I would say there is always some luck. I mean, but even if we didn't have that much luck, we could have lost some people, for example, and we would still have made it out. It would have taken us a little bit more time, but I think we would have still have made it out in some way.
So what are it seems like you guys kind of made it and everything's stable, but what are the future plans for the company, and how is that, how does the advantage or disadvantage of being based in Bulgaria play into the whole thing?
Yeah, future plans are big. Like
We see that they're big. Yeah.
There's a guy playing
slaying dragons in the background.
There's one of my colleagues is playing VR, but it's our plans are in technology. So we don't really want to build we want to build a product, of course. Every outsourcing company out there that's, that hasn't been in the outsourcing business for 10 years wants to build a product, because the product is something that really lets the company basically and its founders make their own mark. So we want to build a product, and our product, well, we still haven't figured it out. We kind of figured it out because one of our products is gonna be in VR. So our future plans is to keep the core business going. The core business is consulting, training, development, so basically outsourcing. Keep the core business going and become better at it. So basically, make sure we do more consulting, because everybody can write the code and basically do the work, but figuring out the big picture and getting the systems going needs basically the consulting part needs more knowledge and experience. So keep the consulting training going. I'm also doing trainings in Angular. Actually, I'm going to India next month to do a training there for 1 week. So keep this going, keep the core business going, but I also think about the industry, because we've seen a lot of things in the industry. I think that we can find a niche and work there. And one of the things is in emerging technologies like web VR. So basically virtual reality for the web, which I think is going to explode once they figure out the technology, because it's very early. So one of the things we're prototyping now is a UI toolkit for web VR. Basically built web interfaces with web VR, like ready components, something like Twitter Bootstrap, if you know Twitter Bootstrap for web VR. And it's actually, we haven't announced it yet. It's been very internal. We'll tell you more about it, I think, next week. The other thing we're doing is a lot of machine learning and AI, because we have very talented people, and these talented people tend to have a very good mathematical background. So they have a lot of potential. And the guy who's coming as the tech lead, the guy from VMware who's coming as a tech lead, he's working with one of our guys to basically start doing machine learning for other businesses, basically start doing solutions and build a product from there. And basically these are future plans. So try to look for a product we can build for the future, something that will be used in the future, like using emerging technologies, because this is where the opportunity comes in. If you're building a technology, you're not building something for an industry, or if you're basically not innovating with software, you're innovating with technology, you have to look for something that's emerging. So we're working on emerging technologies to get this thing going and keep the core business going. And this is our basically future plans. And you had another question, but I think I answered.
No, in addition to my question was, how does that all play out in the Bulgarian ecosystem, I guess?
I was honestly, Bulgarian economy and Bulgaria in general, I would say that if it weren't for the team I've built here, I wouldn't really be in Bulgaria, to be honest. But thinking about it, Bulgaria has a lot of potential, mainly because right now it's in a position that it can grow a lot. Just to give you a perspective, think about companies like Chaos Group, Telerik, Science, all these old companies that were started in the 2000s. So these companies, some of them got acquired, others got sold. Science got acquired by VMware, Telerik got acquired by Progress. Chaos Group is growing right now; it's huge. All these companies, they basically laid the foundation, right? So what we're doing now, we're kind of like second or third generation of businesses being spun off in Bulgaria. And the good thing is that here, the environment is good enough so that, and these companies had to go through a lot of, excuse me for a lot of shit in order to become profitable or to become big or to become successful. And these companies have built the foundation, they've built the reputation. So that businesses like ours, second, third generation businesses can thrive. And what made me stay here is that not only like economically, income taxes, basically, the taxation system is so lenient. Like, for example, in Germany, you have to pay 3 times more to the government in order to keep the business running. Basically, they'll rip you off. The government's gonna rip you off. So not only we have great like environment, like economical environment, but we have like companies in the software industry that have already laid the foundation. So we don't have to like work for almost free for like 3 or 4 years to get out there. We had to work for around 8 months in order to get out, and we could have actually done it almost instantly, because there are the people, there are investors, there are people who have a lot of knowledge of the industry. So we have a lot of people who we can ask questions, a lot of people who can mentor us. So basically, these companies that were started in the beginning, they built the whole environment, they built the ecosystem. And for us, it's super easy to like start off. And I mean, when I started, it was difficult for me to realize it. But now when I think about it, how many people we've contacted, like with successful businesses that are making millions and millions of dollars, asking them questions and asking them for references and stuff. And it's not also this; it's also the internet and everything. Right now, the world is much more connected. Back in 2001, you had problems like slow internet connection or things like this. Now it doesn't make a difference where you are. I mean, if you're Bulgaria in the US, when you have internet, you can reach pretty much everybody else. It's just that here in Bulgaria, the costs are low, the environment is good. And I guess the other thing is the pool of talent, right? I mean, we're still having this problem with culture in Bulgaria. So one of the challenges I would say is culture, is that people aren't that... people don't have that mindset to be part of a small company. They don't have this mindset for like growing professionally or growing outside, basically becoming super successful. There are some people who still need some kind of like a mindset shift, and in young people it's still present. I mean, I live in students' town in Sofia. I see a lot of young people kind of wasting their time and wasting their potential. This is still present, but the good thing about this, there's still a lot of young people, and many of them are still young. And the good thing about young people is that you can still kind of they're still willing to change. So if you show them the way, if you give them some direction, they'll change. So what we do in Centroida is that when we hire somebody, we kind of convert them. So we kind of have this culture that makes people more, let's say, more hardworking. So we put a lot of emphasis on hard work, because in Bulgaria, I guess this is the main problem, that people are too focused on having fun and pleasure and stuff, and you have people in developed economies working harder. I mean, really, I'm gonna say that you have people in developed economies that work harder than Bulgarians in Bulgaria. It's just part of the culture, people rather go to a chaga club rather than sleep and then work for 10 hours a day. So we're working towards making sure that people kind of celebrate work. They're happy with their work. They think they find it as a way to basically feel successful and find it as a pleasure. So we're working towards that. Basically, that's one of the challenges, to get people think about this, but it's easy because they're young people, and if you have the right culture, if you promote work, if you pay people who work harder more, like disproportionately more, they'll see what's the way to go. And that's something that other companies, software companies, some of the other companies have managed to do that. And that's the challenge, though, making sure these people have this mindset that's, more towards, working hard, doing great things, being well known internationally, and not just, having fun all the time and wasting a lot of money. and then kind of paying off debts or asking your parents for money, and it's like we're getting in some, work hard, like some get some financial intelligence going, because you need to learn how to manage your finance. And this is the culture we're trying to basically insist. And it's a challenge, because there are many people that have to go through it. And there's also another challenge that it's getting better, but Bulgarians usually are not really good in international environments. So local students, they're used to basically spend a lot of time with other Bulgarians. In our company, we have people from Asia, we have people from pretty much many places in the world. Just because we're from the American University, and there we have people with all kinds of backgrounds, and we managed to attract some of them. So they really have a difficulty like thinking outside Bulgaria and thinking outside thinking more globally. But it's both a challenge to get these people to make these people use more English, or try to make them more considerate that there is a foreigner in the room, and they have to make sure that the foreigner understands whatever they're saying, even if it doesn't concern the foreigner. But it's also a good thing, because you have people who are really excited to work in that kind of environment, people who want to work with foreigners or work in an international environment. You have these people, and that really kind of attracts them to our company. So it's both a challenge and a benefit. I would say that we have foreign people, and we try to promote the international environment. And I'm always putting Singapore as an example, because it's a small country. That's a super small country, no natural resources, nothing that puts them in a good position. But they have a very strong economy, and they have very high standards of living, just because they're very export oriented, they're very international, and they welcome foreign people. And I think my belief is that if we want to have less challenges in Bulgaria, we really need to open up more internationally, be more open to foreign capital, foreign people coming in and out. Because if we manage to control the process, we can get a lot out of the situation, and get closer to rising the living standards in general. And I think the environment is here. It's been established by especially for the software industry, it's been established by other companies who've basically been through the rough times, and now they've basically set up the environment for second generation businesses like Centroida to basically get into higher revenues much sooner than they did, just because we have a better environment and better conditions to work and live in.
Love the optimism, by the way. We also share the same thinking for Bulgaria, and one of the reasons why we're focused so much on building the business there as well as a base. I was wondering, you talk a lot about how you're trying, the company's trying to get young people involved, change this kind of thinking. Do you have some specific examples of some of the things you're doing or you're planning to do to involve a broader audience and to spread this optimistic message?
Yeah. I mean, we're very busy surviving in the last few months, but now we're kind of thinking more about it. Well, one of these initiatives that we're thinking about, one of the things we do is that not only we promote English, we promote the people to become internationally known. We're actually starting to do a lot of written content by our people, just to write about technologies and the work process that's going on in our company, or how we're helping other businesses, from a purely technological standpoint. And this includes contributions to the global software, to the global developer community, basically. How to do push notifications with Firebase in Android. You don't have to learn it. You can read one of our guides, And we do a lot of skill sharing. I mean, we do presentations, workshops, and this attracts a lot of people. And we do them in English because there are, it turns out that there are a lot of foreign software like developers in Bulgaria, like a lot of people from Russia, Albania, Serbia, and they don't know that there are also people from the UK. Actually, a lot of foreign people are coming to work in Bulgaria, and they don't have events to go to. So we create the events for them, and we do. We try to be more inclusive. Try to attract foreigners, because we have a lot of foreigners in the company, and they constantly complain, oh man, they're like, there's this event, but oh yeah, they're gonna speak in Bulgarian, so I'm not gonna learn anything. And basically we try to promote this. So we do a lot of content writing, and we promote this. Basically, we really try to get our people to do more stuff that gets to the international community. Also open source software. That's an interesting thing, because we figured out that we can make a lot of business value. Like we can make money out of open source software. So we're actually thinking of making open source software that's widely used and maintaining it. So that's one of these things that really kind of not force people, but they make them work a lot. We also work a lot with foreign customers, basically think more internationally. One of the other things we do is that part of the interview, we do it in English, especially the technical part. Because if people cannot explain a concept in English, like anything, like I don't know, how do you do polymorphism? Like if they cannot explain it in English, so like working with clients or consulting clients will be much more difficult, in the future if they don't know this. So we're kind of demanding, very demanding in terms of being able to explain themselves using technical terminology in English. And we're trying different ways to make them promote, either through skill sharing, content writing, explaining things like in interviews or in the work process to get this thing going. And by doing this, we get a lot of attention from outside. And we plan to keep this thing going. Host more events that are in English, so that we can attract basically people who are not Bulgarian. And I mean, Bulgarians in general, like it's not like you're betraying your country I mean, actually, it's difficult for me to to basically explain something I've been working on software using Bulgarian. Like I have no idea how these people are managing to do it. And they use so much foreign terminology. I don't know how they twist their tongue all the time, like saying something in Bulgarian then switching to like English terminology. It's crazy. And maybe if they kind of try to do it in English, they will attract bigger audience, because especially in Sofia you have a lot of international people. We have a big international audience, and I think it's going to be growing as the country develops, especially in the software development industry. So that's one of the things. That's a few things we do.
Amazing. How many people are you right now, I wonder?
Now we are around 14 people, but we're going to get 2 interns. We're going to get 2 interns. We're also collaborating with another company that probably they're going to merge with us, because they're like just 3 people, a small team, on one of the projects that we're doing for VR. I would say we're around 16 people, but as I said, we always have a lot of people around us. So we have advisors, we have investors. So I would say they're around, right now they're around 14 people on a payroll, like being paid salaries, but there are a lot of people are being paid, from being paid for part-time work or being paid for just being with the company. So it's, with around 14 people, I would say.
Nice one. It's a huge growth from a couple of months ago when you were
the dark
three
times.
of you thinking about the dark times.
The dark ages.
Yeah.
A few months ago.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that growth is mostly caused by us investing. Like, I really wouldn't say that we have given ourselves like big salaries. Even we can allow ourselves to give ourselves pretty stable salaries, I would say. But instead of like wasting that much money on salaries for ourselves, we're either wasting it not wasting it, investing it in our employees, in basically uh, getting them the right environment. So now we're gonna buy like workstations for them because they had to use their personal computers, things like that. So I guess the big growth is caused by not only work but also a lot of investing on our side, and it's really important when you start a business. It's you really should try to keep you really should be really like clever about your personal finance, because you want to keep the upside. So they call this upside, basically making sure your business grows as fast as possible. And the only way to make sure your business grows as fast as possible that you're so busy that you don't have time to waste money. Like everything you make, you bring it back to the business. You make sure your salaries are always going up, because our salaries are kind of starting to reach the market level now, like the salaries of our employees. So the big growth is caused by not only not being afraid to hire new people, but to invest in them, to like make sure they stay with the company and grow with the company as the company grows. So I guess this is one of the very important things, just making sure you allot as much finance as you can for the company, so that it grows, because really we have nothing to lose. I mean, the only thing we can lose is the company, and it's a pretty big asset. So as none of us like are married. We don't have children. We don't have girlfriends, because girlfriends tend to be an expense as well at some point. So we do make sacrifices. I wouldn't say it's the best. It's the best life. We don't live like normal people. Like normal people usually allow themselves to buy more things. But when you buy more things, you have more liabilities. To buy a car, you have to pay for maintenance, gas. To get a girlfriend, you have to pay with your time, attention, dinners outside. Depends on the girlfriend. But when you got, I don't know, anything you get, like pretty much any asset you get, if it doesn't give you any return on your money, it's better not get it, especially in the first year when you're starting a business. If you want your business to grow, you just have to sacrifice your personal life, sacrifice your time. Even if you have venture capital, like if somebody gives you money, you still have to sacrifice your part of your time that you would normally invest in other activities, just because it's the price you pay, and you have to be okay with that. To me, maybe in the beginning for me it was kind of a little bit, I was thinking about it, but when I saw the business growing, I said, well, whatever, it doesn't matter. If the business is growing, you get a lot more reward. You feel much more rewarded than going to a party or I don't know. Like I mean, seeing your business grow, it's amazing. I cannot say I would get more let's say more satisfaction from buying a car or getting a nice girlfriend or anything like that. Like somebody who's 24 years or 23 years old like me would want to have, because if you're at my age and you're doing these things, you see more reward in basically growing your business than getting these material things. And in the end of the day, you always get them in the end of the day. I mean, if you keep going like this, I mean, it's inevitable that you'll get them if your business grows. So it's more of a mindset thing, I would say, getting through all this.
Yeah, well, I feel you completely, because you're not only helping yourself, but you're also helping 15 other people in your case.
Yeah. That's also a thing. Yeah, like I guess like growing people, like seeing them grow, not only your business but the people growing. Because I want to tell you like the story of one of our guys, like our employee number one. His name is Stefan. When he came, he was a little bit overweight. He's a very talented guy. He's also from Blagoevgrad, by the way.
Okay.
He's from Strumsky. He's like a super talented. He's really good at chess, really good at mathematics. And when he first started, like his first months in the company, he was like overweight. He was he was kind of okay, but he had so much talent and so much desire to work. And they started working together with him, working out together, and he spent so much time working and becoming better at what he does. He got a scholarship. He lost like 20 kilograms. He became like, he's one of the best, like he's one of the big brains, let's say, in our company. And he's seeing that person come from having like self-confidence problems, being overweight, not being like the greatest guy ever, coming from there to being super successful, getting scholarships, being great at his work, feeling great in his body because he lost weight. He now looks pretty buff. And seeing this person grow from nothing to something, it's wow. It's just, I mean, really, like I always tell this to everybody because it's an amazing story. I have a lot other people like this. People like one of the guy, the Albanian guy who came over. He had no experience in software development, but he worked so hard. Now he's actually telling me what to do, because he spends much more time doing operational work. And you see these people grow and they transform and become very, very powerful. They also become, wealthy just because, you invest more in them, and they become happier. It's just, and on the bigger side, you're doing this in Bulgaria. You're paying salaries to these people, to Bulgarians, and you're boosting the economy. So it feels really good doing all this in the other day. As I said, buying a car or doing like going on vacation would never replace the feeling you get from getting a business going and making it up and running. At least for me.
Yeah,
I think we should do a part 2 because we have a lot to talk about.
We have a lot of questions, but we want to be respectful of your time on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys really much. Really, and you should keep going with your business. I think the position you're in right now with DULO, I think you have a lot of potential, and I really hope we meet again and we possibly collaborate if we have any connection points on that. I'll be really happy to help out, and really props for choosing to do a business in Bulgaria and base your production there, because there's a lot of potential going on, and keep up the good work as well.
I think so too. Yeah, likewise. Just keep growing. We'll catch up with you when we're in Bulgaria as well. We'll come by the office, play a little bit of VR, so we can get our hands dirty with that as well. Let's stay in touch, and let's do part 2 sometime in the future.
Yeah, let's do that. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Hristo.
Have a great week. Say hi to the guy that was slaying dragons behind you.
All right.
See you.
See ya.